In this video, we will talk about the top 5 deer hunting mistakes beginners make. The crisp morning air nips at your skin as you step out of your truck. The world around you is still dark, save for the faint glow of your flashlight cutting through the trees. The only sounds are the crunch of your boots on dry leaves and the occasional rustling in the underbrush as a squirrel makes its way through the woods. You're ready to take on the hunt that will define your season, perhaps your entire hunting career. But you're not alone out here. Out of the darkness, a familiar figure emerges. Your hunting mentor, a seasoned hunter whose every step is confident, whose every move speaks of decades in the woods. They look over at you with a raised brow, a sly grin on their face. Ready? They ask as if they already know the answer. You nod, but deep down, something stirs inside you, something you can't quite name, but it's there, the same feeling you had before your first hunt. And then, like a cold gust of wind that cuts straight through your bones, the reality hits. You're about to make mistakes. Mistakes that every hunter before you has made. Some of those mistakes are minor. Some of them could cost you your shot at that buck you've been dreaming about all season. What are those mistakes? What should you be looking out for? Let's walk through them. The first mistake, one that almost every beginner makes, is the rush. You're too eager to be in the woods. It's not uncommon. Hell, it's practically in your DNA. You want to find that perfect spot, to feel the thrill of the chase, and to make that first kill. But here's the thing. Hunting isn't just about the act of shooting. It's about patience, about stillness. You're walking down a narrow trail, your rifle in hand. The trees above you stretch their skeletal limbs into the sky. Every sound you hear seems to set your heart racing. Was that a twig snapping, a deer, or just your own nerves playing tricks on you? And there it is, that rushing feeling again. You've been walking for what feels like hours, and you're sure you've found the perfect spot, but in your haste, you didn't stop and take in the entire landscape. You didn't pause long enough to get a feel for the wind direction, to check your surroundings, to ask yourself one critical question. Is this the best place to set up, or am I rushing into a mistake? You set up too quickly, too soon, and before you know it, the wind shifts. You hear the unmistakable sound of hooves in the distance, but when you turn, it's already too late. The deer is gone. That feeling of disappointment settles in, but there's no time to wallow. A seasoned hunter's voice echoes in your mind. Always, always wait. Patience is key. It's a phrase that feels cliché in the moment, but it cuts to the heart of what hunting truly is. So, what did you learn from this mistake? The next time you set out, take your time. Don't rush into the first spot that looks good. Stop, breathe, assess. Take in the landscape. Understand the wind. Wait. Be patient. The deer aren't going anywhere. They'll come when the time is right. As you sit quietly in your tree stand on another hunt, a new mistake begins to creep into your mind. Overlooking your gear. You thought you had everything in place, your rifle, your ammo, your camo, your knife, everything was checked off, right? But as you shift ever so slightly, the dreaded sound of your clothing scraping against the tree stand breaks the silence. Your heart skips a beat. You freeze. What happened? Did the deer hear that? Did they see you move? You quickly glance down at your clothing. No, you're wearing the right camo. You're hidden. But then it hits you. The thing you missed. The thing you missed. The one thing every beginner overlooks, the noise. Your gear is loud. The straps on your backpack, the snap of the zipper on your jacket, the slight rattle of your binoculars against your chest, all of them make noise. That noise might be subtle, but to a deer's finely tuned ears, it's like a flashing neon sign saying, "I'm here." The mistake here is clear. not investing in gear that's both quiet and effective. It's easy to forget that your clothes and your equipment aren't just tools, they're part of your strategy. Gear that makes noise can ruin your chances. The right clothing, gear that's made to blend in both visually and audibly, will make all the difference. But the mistakes aren't over yet. You've got the patience, you've got the gear. But now comes the third pitfall, and this one will haunt you if you're not careful. You've gotten yourself set up, the wind's perfect, the silence stretches around you like a blanket, but then you start thinking too much. You think about everything. The shot, the deer, the story you're going to tell when you bag that buck, and before you know it, your mind starts to race. You're focusing on every little thing, every little movement, every little sound. This is the problem. You're losing control of your thoughts. Your brain starts making assumptions, and before you know it, you're second-guessing everything. Is that a rustle in the bushes? Should I stand up now? What if it's just a rabbit? In this moment, the mistake you're making is simple. You're letting your mind wander. Hunting is about control. It's about staying grounded, staying calm, and focusing only on what's in front of you. You take a deep breath, shake the thoughts from your head, and focus on the task at hand. Nothing else matters, just you, the stand, the wind, and the deer. You've learned now that the most important thing you can control in the woods is your focus. If you let your mind race, you'll miss your shot, and worse, you'll lose the very essence of why you hunt. But it's not just about the mind. Sometimes the next mistake lies in something so simple, so basic, that it's almost embarrassing to admit: not knowing how to shoot under pressure. You've practiced, you've taken aim at targets in your backyard, you've lined up your rifle on the range, taking careful, slow breaths, but now, in the woods, when that buck steps into your sights, when the real moment is staring you down, it's different. Your hands tremble slightly, your breath comes in shallow bursts, the adrenaline starts to pump through your veins like a high-voltage current. Everything feels amplified. The shot you've been preparing for isn't just a shot, it's a test of everything you've learned and everything you've been training for. But you're still not ready. Your body tenses, your finger twitches on the trigger, and you pull too soon. You miss, the deer runs off into the brush. You take a deep breath, cursing under your breath. But there's a lesson in this mistake. You didn't practice under the right conditions. You didn't put yourself in the mindset you'll face when it counts. Next time you'll take that shot at dawn when the world is still asleep. You'll practice with the weight of your rifle on your shoulder and the nerves in your chest. You'll simulate the real thing. When the deer steps into view, you won't be frozen by the pressure. You'll be ready. The final mistake, and perhaps the most critical, isn't about equipment or preparation, it's about attitude. This is the mistake that will either make you a better hunter or drive you away from the woods forever, taking the hunt personally. You've had a bad season where the deer just aren't where they're supposed to be, the weather's been against you, your mentor's words echo in your head, but you're frustrated. Every time you think you've got it right, something goes wrong. And now, you're questioning everything. Maybe you're not cut out for this. Maybe you'll never catch that big one. But here's the thing. Every hunter has felt this way. You aren't alone. The real test isn't in how many deer you bag. It's in how you handle the failures. Every missed shot, every empty day in the woods, every time you come back to camp without a prize is part of the journey. Don't take it personally. Don't let the woods defeat you. The hunt is bigger than you. It's ancient, it's humbling, and the more you embrace that, the more successful you'll become. You sit back in the dark, your hands resting on your rifle. The quiet of the woods surrounds you, and you breathe in the cool night air. The hunt isn't over, but you're wiser now. You know your mistakes, and next time you'll be ready.